bonjour and namaste, and in this video I'm going to give you all of the details of how we planned our trip, the hotels that we stayed in, our experience with the car rentals, the highways in the UK. So stay tuned. Excluding the visa cost and the airfares, our travel expenses were roughly £1,500 or about 1,800 euros. On the very first day of our trip, we took the Air France flight and we flew out from France to London Heathrow. Since we had planned this trip maybe just a month in advance and we couldn't find any reasonably priced hotel or B&B in central London, so we had little choice but to reserve a room at one of the airport hotels. So online we found a good deal with Novotel Hotel, and we stayed there 3 nights. There are 2 Novotel in the London Heathrow airport area, and we took the one which has a swimming pool. So we took the shuttle bus service, and while we were still at the airport, we got our Oyster cards. So Oyster cards are basically the travel cards within London, and the Oyster card also requires a deposit payment of £5, which you can have reimbursed at the end of your trip. For our child who is 5 years old, he didn't require an Oyster card. He could travel for free. And you can use the Oyster card in the public buses and the trains and the metros. Our overall experience with the public transport system in London was very good, whether it be buses or the metros. They were all running on time, they were reliable, and we didn't face any difficulties. From the airport hotel, we would first have to take a bus, a double-decker bus, to get to Hounslow West. And that's the name of a big station, and from our airport hotel it took about a good 25 minutes to get to Hounslow West, from where we could find the Blue Line or the Piccadilly line that would take us directly into central London, and the trip into central London would be another 30 minutes. So to get from the airport to central London was about an hour or so journey. So we spent the 3 days in London. We really loved how busy the city was. It was so vibrant, and it was also very crowded. We spent a lot of time in Camden Market, and we were amazed to see the number of boutiques and the number of independent food stalls, something that we don't see here in France. And we were also in the middle of a massive Brexit demonstration. That was quite an experience too. Be careful when you need to withdraw your cash from ATM machines. Please don't use unauthorized ATM machines that you see out there in the open. I would really recommend that you withdraw your money from an ATM machine which is attached to an official bank. But we had inserted our card. We didn't withdraw money, but on our return back home, we found online that a €25 fee had been deducted from our card for using that service. So even if they say free withdrawals, please be careful. Once we were done with our London trip, it was the time for us now to go and get our rented car. Renting a car from central London, as we did our research, seemed much more complicated, so we made it easy by just renting a car directly out of London airport. And we had booked a car online the previous day from Hertz, which is located at London Heathrow. To get to the car rental office from the airport, you would have to take a special shuttle bus, and we faced no difficulty to find the area from where we needed to take the shuttle bus. So with our bags and suitcases, we got into the shuttle bus and we reached the rental office from where we rented our car. Now Hertz, for some reason, it could not give us the car that we had booked for, but it was no problem for us because the car they suggested was equally good. It was a Volkswagen Caddy, and it was spacious and big and clean, and most importantly it had an inbuilt sat-nav or the GPS, and this proved very helpful to us for the next week. Our first stop out of London was to go to Bath, so we covered the journey in less than 3 hours. Just to let you know that the distances shown for travel in the UK is in miles and yards, but the fuel measurement in the gas stations is expressed in litres. We found the travel over the British highways very convenient, easy. We faced no problems at all. The British FM is very good, and the refreshment stops along the way in the highway you would have to look out for signs called services, as fuel stations or restaurants are not visible on the highways. While we were in the city of Bath, we stayed at a hotel called M Gallery. We had just reserved the hotel room a day before, and it cost us £100 for the night. And Bath is a very beautiful city, and our hotel was located in central Bath. I believe it's a 5-star hotel. The only tricky thing about Bath, and actually everywhere else in the UK, is you have to continually pay for parking charges, and in the city of Bath our hotel offered to us a deal of £17 to park our car for a day, and we found this very reasonable compared to the other options available. So we took this option, and it was very good. And we went to one of the oldest establishments in Bath called Sally Lunn's, where they had special buns. From Bath, the next day we went onwards to Lyme Regis, which was once again a drive of under 3 hours, and it's a beautiful place along the coast. It's a little town, and I loved it with its wide sandy beaches and the downward slope of the land. Once again, it had very interesting boutiques, and it was not so crowded. It was an ideal place for us to just refresh ourselves. And at Lyme Regis we hadn't made any prior hotel bookings, so from this point onwards we were just trying our luck with the hotels, and I must say that there aren't too many B&Bs to choose from, so we were lucky to have found a guest house by the name of Hicks. It was very good. We were charged £100 for a night. The room was big and spacious. We had a separate bedroom and a separate living room. And for breakfast they provided us a big hamper full of breakfast goodies, so that was a lovely experience in Lyme Regis. So we were lucky to find a public parking space that was close to our hotel, where the charges were £2 per day. So compared to Bath, it was very cheap. The next day we travelled from Lyme Regis all the way to the region of Cornwall. We headed onwards to Penzance, and arriving in Penzance we were surprised that there weren't too many B&Bs. We didn't find any B&B which had a room to let for us, so we tried the next coastal town, which was Peranathno. Peranathno is a village, and I believe there is only one B&B, and we were very lucky to have found a room over there. They let out the room to us for £85. The room was quite small for the three of us, but they made up for it with the breakfast. The breakfast was absolutely amazing. The quality of all of the ingredients in our dish and the refined way of cooking made us rethink of what we thought about English food. It was a lovely experience, but maybe Paranatno was a little too quiet for us. If you wish to have a quiet time just by the sea, then yes, this is the perfect place for you. We stayed in Paranatno for 2 nights, and during the 2 days we went all the way to Land's End. Land's End is about a 45-minute drive from Paranatno, and we had a wonderful time over there, especially because the sun was shining, and we managed to get a lot of wonderful videos and photographs. The parking charges in Land's End is £6, and you can stay at Land's End for as long as you want. Land's End is a famous place. It has a big name and it attracts a lot of tourists, but we spent most of the time walking along the cliffs and admiring the beautiful views. While at Land's End, we did see that there was a very nice hotel located at the very tip at the Land's End itself, and maybe if we had to redo our plan, I think I would have liked to stay a night in that hotel. We also visited the other southern western tip, which is the lesser known popular spot just like Land's End, and it's called Lizard. But having spent a considerable time in Land's End, we did not see much point in walking too much around Lizard. However, I would like to say that Lizard is equally nice. From Paranatno, returning back to London Heathrow, we decided to break our journey by stopping midway at a town called Cheddar, and it was a wonderful discovery for yet another town, and this time not on the coast. It was mostly a quiet town, but we discovered that Cheddar is famous not only for its cheese but also for its gorges. Found a B&B that was actually a private home, and the name of this home is called the Shadwell House, and the lady of the house, her name is Sue. She was extremely kind and nice, and her room was spacious, big and warm. We had a lovely time with her and her family. And for breakfast we had a big Cornish breakfast, so I would definitely recommend a stay with her. But you needn't worry because Cheddar does have quite a few hotels and guest houses. I hope you have enjoyed my video on UK travel and the options I have presented. Our itinerary was for a period of 8 days, and the only thing that I can suggest is that you book your first hotel in London, whether it be at the airport or central London, and make sure to rent your car. And after that, you are really free to travel the way you want and choose your own hotels along the way depending on where you want to go. The only times where we had internet was at places that had the Wi-Fi service, or otherwise during our drives itself we were without internet, so we just had the GPS to rely on, and this really gives a great sense of freedom. This was a wonderful holiday spent in the UK, and we would definitely like to revisit some of the places that we have been to. In the next video, I am going to highlight some of the differences that I found between England and France. We found quite a few surprising things that we didn't expect to see in England, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. So, a bientôt!